One of the most important mental health skills is kindness. So start practicing being kind to yourself and liking yourself. In treating ourselves as problems, we're often very quick to judge ourselves or to believe the negative stories our brain throws up. When we're making changes, it's so useful to not judge ourselves for doing compulsions. Of course, we'll still do them. We can't expect to magically have the capacity to cut out all compulsions and perfectly follow our values. Remember that you're human and recognize that it's very understandable that we want to check and control things. There might be underlying trauma, and also it just shows that we really care. When we notice those urges to do compulsions, or when we notice we've been doing compulsions, we can give ourselves a hug. Of course, we don't want those bad things to happen, but we've learned that trying to prevent and control them has led us to a very unhealthy place. So we're going to take a step in a more useful direction. This is also why labeling someone as having a disorder probably isn't the best idea. I find it way more useful to have compassion. It's very natural that when we're exposed to trauma and stress, we'll react to it by trying to control and fix it. That's just being human. Even when working on changes, we're going to do that from a place of liking ourselves. These changes are about being yourself in the world, after all. They are about doing the things you really care about and aligning your actions with your values. We're not striving for self improvement or we're not hustling. We identify what we already value and we practice aligning our actions with those values. So we practice being ourselves. So start being your own best friend. There's often things we'll say to ourselves that we would never say to a friend. We would never treat them the way we treat ourselves. Constantly judging yourself is like living with a mean roommate all the time. Of course, that makes us miserable. And if you feel like you don't deserve kindness, then give it to yourself unreasonably. There never has to be a reason to be kind to yourself. Being deserving or undeserving, that's just a made up thing by the brain. It doesn't exist in reality. Something you might find useful is seeing the inner child in ourselves. They're often scared because of past experiences, and that's very understandable. But you can show them they can handle things and they can step into the world. And this is not about forcing them to do something. This is about bringing kindness into these practices and understanding the difficulty of making these changes. There are so many places where we can start to practice. When we're getting ready in the morning, instead of making it about controlling what others will think of us, we can get ready as an expression of ourselves. Instead of using food to control the way we look, we can eat food to nourish ourselves. We can prepare food to nourish ourselves. We can cut out compulsions instead of only making our lives worse by doing the compulsions. And we can simply be and not have to achieve anything. As we're making changes, we'll wander off the path many times. So instead of beating ourselves up over that, celebrate that you noticed and then step back on the path. All we ever have is the decision we make in this moment. So start practicing being kind to yourself. You can view this as a general approach, but also identify the actions with which you can consistently give yourself care and kindness.